All right, let's talk about it. The first time. It's this moment that gets so hyped up, right? It's loaded with all of this pressure and anxiety. But what if we just threw out that rule book? Today, we're going to look at how to approach this whole thing by focusing on what actually matters, making a real connection, not chasing some crazy idea of perfection.
So where's all this tension even come from? Well, for most of us, the whole idea of a first time is just buried under a mountain of expectations. And all of that leads to one big feeling: nervousness. Yeah, it can feel like this massive elephant in the room. But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to run the show.
Okay, first things first, and this is a big one. Feeling nervous is totally normal. I mean, for everyone. It has nothing to do with how confident you are or what your experience level is. It's just a human thing. And honestly, just saying it out loud, acknowledging that you're both probably feeling it, that's the biggest first step you can take to get past it together.
So, okay, if we agree that nerves are just part of the deal, how do we handle them? Well, it all boils down to one simple, super important thing: communication.
And look, communication isn't just some big, scary, one-time conversation. It's more of a process, right? It starts simple, just talking openly. That's how you build trust. Then you can get into understanding what you both like, what you don't, what your boundaries are. And once you have that, you can start to close that emotional distance, which is honestly the whole key to feeling safe and really connected.
This quote really just nails it, doesn't it? A good experience isn't about trying to read each other's minds or making a bunch of assumptions. It's built on a real bond. And when you both feel like you're actually being heard and respected, all that pressure we were talking about, it just kind of melts away.
Okay, so once the communication is flowing, let's talk about some of the practical stuff. The things that make sure you both feel safe and comfortable. And this one is super direct for a reason. Using protection, it's completely non-negotiable. Seriously, it's one of the clearest signs of respect you can show each other. And it's what makes sure this whole thing stays a positive memory, without any worries or complications down the road.
All right, so beyond safety, let's talk comfort. This is where something like foreplay becomes so important. And try not to think of it as just the warm-up act. It's really part of the main event. Its real job is to help calm those nerves and let both of your bodies just relax and ease into the moment. Even just focusing on simple things like kissing and cuddling can make a world of difference in feeling present and comfortable.
Okay, so we've talked about the physical stuff, but let's be honest, a lot of the time, the biggest hurdle isn't physical at all. It's all in our heads. It's this constant battle between what we think it should be like versus what it's actually like. And this is the trap, right? We see these scenes in movies and TV shows, but that stuff is literally made for drama, for marketing. It's not real life. It's completely unrealistic. If you try to copy a movie scene, you're pretty much setting yourself up for disappointment. The real key here is to just throw that script out the window and focus on the actual person you're with. This is your experience. The two of you get to decide what makes it good, not some Hollywood director.
But what if all that mental pressure starts to show up physically? What happens if, even with the best intentions, your body just kind of reacts to the nerves?
So, it's really important to get this. These kinds of physical reactions are super common, and they are almost always just a direct result of anxiety. For guys, performance anxiety can sometimes cause issues with an erection. And for women, nervousness can cause vaginal dryness. And listen, this has nothing to do with not being attracted to the other person or not being experienced. It is simply your body's physical way of saying, hey, I'm a little nervous right now. So yeah, if this happens, the number one rule is don't panic. Seriously, these things are almost always temporary. As you and your partner get more comfortable and build more trust, the anxiety goes down, and these physical things, they just sort of resolve on their own. It all comes down to being patient and understanding with each other.
And all of this kind of brings us to what I think is the most important mindset shift. We need to stop thinking about this as some kind of technical performance and start seeing it for what it really is, a chance to create a memorable, shared experience.
Honestly, if there's one thing you take away from all this, let it be this right here. Just let go of the pressure to be perfect. Perfection is a total myth, and all it does is create more anxiety. Instead, just pour all your energy into being right there, in the moment with your partner. That's it. That's where the real connection, the real magic actually is. So, let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. Just remember, nerves are normal. Communication is always your best first step. Always use protection. Forget what you see in the movies, it's not real. And most importantly, just focus on your partner and the connection you're sharing in that moment. Let's end with this last thought, because it really says it all. The second you reframe this whole thing as a moment to build a connection, instead of an event you have to perform, everything changes. The pressure just evaporates, and all that's left is the space for the two of you to create a really genuine, positive, and memorable experience together.